Right now, it's time for your morning wake-up call, courtesy of Shohei Ohtani's 28th home run of the season.
And Ohtani swings, hits a drive, deep right center field, way back to the wall, it is gone, a home run! Shohei Ohtani, home run number 28.
With that, we welcome in our MLB insider, Buster Olney. Buster, Shohei Ohtani currently the favorite to win back-to-back National League MVP awards. So look at what he's doing. Are you taking him to repeat or the field?
Dan, I'm going to take the field led by Pete Crow Armstrong of the Chicago Cubs because, like Ohtani, there's a lot of versatility to his game. He's having a great season offensively, 21 home runs, all kind of slug this year. On the bases, he's considered to be the best pure base runner in the sport, 24 stolen bases, and maybe his greatest impact is on defense. Cubs manager Craig Counsell told me early this year that he thinks Crow Armstrong might be the best pure defender in the sport. I think he's going to win the award.
Yeah, and look, I got to tell you, he's carrying my otherwise sadly underachieving fantasy team. So happy for that with Pete Crow Armstrong. Over in the American League, Aaron Judge is the favorite to repeat as MVP. You taking him or the field?
Dan, I'm going to take the field led by Cal Raleigh, and this would have been unthinkable a month ago because Aaron Judge is having the greatest season for any right-handed hitter ever. But you know what? Cal Raleigh is having the greatest season for any catcher ever with all the power, 32 home runs. His adjusted OPS plus is 198. That's better than the career best of Johnny Bench, Gary Carter, Mike Piazza, any other name you come up with. And on top of that, he's considered to be an elite defensive catcher.
Yeah, unbelievable what Cal Raleigh is doing out there in Seattle. But taking it back to Judge, his Yankees are 11-12 in the month of June, and the Crosstown Mets haven't been a whole lot better at 12-12. These are both teams that have super high expectations. Given the way they've played in June, which of those two are you more concerned about right now?
The Mets, because they're pitching. Look, the pitching was the backbone of the great start that they had this year. They were leading the majors in ERA, but during this stretch, that group has struggled, especially among starting pitchers. They've had a ton of injuries, and last night, Griffin Canning going down with Achilles injury. Their hope is that Sean Manaea will come back in a couple weeks. They just got Frankie Montas back. But it's going to be a challenge, especially in an absolutely stacked American League. The context is much more difficult for the Mets than it is the Yankees.
Yeah, Canning injury, tough to watch, obviously, last night, especially since we seem to get an Achilles injury on TV every couple days right now. We're about at the halfway point of the Major League Baseball season, so we wanted to get some mid-season superlatives from Buster. So, Buster, what do you got?
All right, best pitcher on the planet, I've got Tarek Skubal, who is, of course, the defending AL Cy Young Award winner. He's having another great season. Dan, early this year, he had a stretch where over the course of 11 games, he had 95 strikeouts and 3 walks. And by the way, it looks like he's going to pitch on Sunday Night Baseball this week. The player most likely to get traded, the star, Eugenio Suarez of the Arizona Diamondbacks. It's not totally clear that Arizona is going to sell. Mike Hazen, their general manager, is considered to be super competitive, but if Suarez is dealt, he would be a perfect fit for the Yankees. They could put him at third base, slide Jazz Chisholm over to second base. Suarez this year, 25 homers, 67 RBI, a great clubhouse presence.
Yeah, and so we're about at the midseason point, as I told you, which, as you know, is not remotely too early to predict who's going to win the World Series. What's your predicted World Series matchup at this point?
So I've got the Dodgers, which is not a surprise, coming out of the National League, the American League, the Tampa Bay Rays, who are surging like crazy over the last 6 weeks. The Rays thought internally that they would get better during the year, and that's exactly what's happened. Junior Caminero hitting like crazy. They expect Shane McClanahan to come back sometime before the trade deadline. And think about this. If the Rays make the World Series, they'll probably have to move the Rays home games because they've been playing in Steinbrenner Field, a place you know well, Dan,
yes,
down in Tampa Bay. They'd have to find another place for the Rays to play at home.
I was going to ask, because a World Series game at Steinbrenner Field in Tampa would be a little overcrowded. Great stuff, Buster. Thanks so much for getting up with us. We'll obviously be checking back in with you a lot.
There has never been a player like Shohei Ohtani.
Well, he is the spectacular Shohei, the unicorn.
Listen, he's one of one.
And there has never been an elbow rehab like Shohei Ohtani's.
He's actually pitching today. How is this happening?
Time and again makes us rethink what is possible.
Let's explore how Ohtani, who already reinvented what is possible for the modern player, reinvented the rehab process too, and what it could mean for the defending World Series champion Dodgers this fall. The first inning of the Angels' home game against the Reds on August 23, 2023 was typical of the two players for the price of one Shohei Ohtani experience. In the top of the first inning, he got TJ Friedl to ground out, then struck out Matt McClain and Elly De La Cruz in succession with some nasty splitters.
There's number 167. Elly De La Cruz strikes out against Shohei. Ohtani punches out 2 in a 1-2-3 first inning. We go to the bottom of the first.
Then Ohtani headed to the dugout, grabbed his bat and helmet, and after a Luis Rengifo leadoff walk, gave his team and himself a lead to work with his 44th homer of the season.
There's a rocket. Right field, way back, long gone, number 44. Shohei Ohtani, spectacular as he reclaims Major League Baseball's home run lead.
That inning was a window into why Ohtani was well on his way to his second unanimous MVP honor in a 3-season span. No one else in the American League or National League's live ball era had both hit and pitched at an all-star caliber level, and very few even dared to try. There was truly only one Ohtani, but that inning would prove to be the end of an era for the Angels. Ohtani, who had skipped his previous start because of arm fatigue, came out of the second inning with a recurrence of the issue. He would not pitch again that season. At year's end, he had the second major elbow procedure of his MLB career. The first such surgery had come in 2018, on the heels of Ohtani's Rookie of the Year campaign. After coming to the United States from Japan for his age 23 season, Ohtani gave us a tantalizing look at the two-way experience, but briefly. He made just 10 starts on the mound before the elbow gave out. While Ohtani was recovering from that Tommy John, he was able to return to DH duties for the 2019 season, and he had a good, but not transcendent season at the plate, with 18 homers, 20 doubles, and an .848 OPS. In the winter prior to 2020, Ohtani completed his rehab process from Tommy John. But as it turned out, 2020 was strange for everybody, Ohtani included. The pandemic-shortened season was Ohtani's worst one at the plate, and he was only able to make 2 ineffective starts on the mound before getting shut down from pitching because of discomfort in his arm. Reflecting on this season later, Ohtani would say that he felt, quote, pathetic because he was unable to hit and pitch the way he was accustomed to. There were many in the baseball industry who argued that he ought to focus firmly on hitting and forget about the whole two-way thing. But the Angels were committed to the idea of Ohtani making it work as a two-way MLB star, and so was Ohtani. He spent the offseason prior to 2021 changing his diet, his throwing program, his use of data and technology, and his pitch mix. And from 2021 to 2023, he was a force of nature unlike anything MLB had ever seen, at least up until he needed elbow surgery yet again. And that surgery coincided with the end of the Angels' contractual control of the now free agent Ohtani. For an ordinary player, the recovery from a second Tommy John procedure would drastically impede his market. But not Ohtani. He set a then free agent record with his $700 million deal with the Dodgers, who, like the Angels before them, had no intention of Ohtani only being a DH, though they knew that that would be his role in the first season of the deal. Ohtani, of course, wasn't just a DH in 2024, but a record-setting one. His 54-homer, 59-steal season for the eventual world champs was both atypical in that it had never been done before, and yet typical for Ohtani in that he's accustomed to doing what's never been done before. A year earlier, superstar Bryce Harper had been lauded for making it back from Tommy John to DH for the Phillies in only 160 days from the procedure. His 12th place finish in the MVP voting that year was considered a marvel, but Ohtani took the concept of a quick recovery several steps further, playing 159 games and winning his third MVP with an offensive season for the ages. When spring training games began in 2025, Ohtani was roughly 18 months removed from his second reconstructive elbow surgery. The average Major League pitching patient is back on the MLB mound by then. But the Dodgers had built a rotation of excellent excess, returning Yoshinobu Yamamoto, bringing in Blake Snell and Roki Sasaki, and getting Tyler Glasnow, Clayton Kershaw, Dustin May, and Tony Gonsolin back from injuries. It appeared they had, gulp, too much pitching. Ohtani, meanwhile, was so valuable to the Dodgers as a DH that it wasn't worth it to risk an early season injury on the mound. And so, for the first 2.5 months of the season, Ohtani continued to do extraordinary things at the plate, and only at the plate. His throwing progression off the mound was methodical, and the Dodgers did not intend to bring him back as a starting pitcher until the second half. But in MLB, you have too much pitching until you don't. The 2025 Dodgers, like the 2024 Dodgers before them, demonstrated this with a litany of arm injuries that robbed them of much of that rotation. Meanwhile, Ohtani threw 3 simulated sessions on the side against Dodgers hitters. And because MLB has a two-way player rule in which Ohtani does not count toward the limit of 13 pitchers on an active roster, the temptation became too great to ignore. With Ohtani pushing to pitch in a game, the Dodgers broke from their patient plan and installed Ohtani as an opener on June 16th against the Padres. They figured that if Ohtani was going to pitch the equivalent of an inning in a live batting practice session, why not get that inning from him in a major league game? In his first one-inning start that day, Ohtani was touched for a run, but hit 100.2 miles per hour on the gun. Then, true to form, he wrapped 2 hits and drove in 2 runs at the plate.
He smacks the ball to left center field, and he's tied it up. Well, Ohtani's given up a run, and now he's knocked in a run. So Ohtani climbs the ladder and golfs this one into right center field, a base hit. Tatis throwing to third, not in time. Ohtani back to first, his second run batted in. 4 in the inning.
In his second opener outing against the Nationals on June 22nd, Ohtani threw a scoreless inning with 2 strikeouts as a pitcher. And once again, he wowed us with his plate performance.
Ohtani hits a fair ball down the line. It's into the corner. Here comes Dalton rushing. Shohei Ohtani unloads the bases with a triple. Ohtani launches left center field. This ball is at the wall. Did that go off of a fan?
Shohei Ohtani with a home run. For Ohtani, it's home run number 26. And Ohtani's got a 5 RBI day.
Though the starts were short and the command a little shaky, Ohtani provided reminders of how bizarre and ultimately how fun it is to watch a team's best hitter also pitch on the mound. But for the Dodgers, the equation is different than it was for the Angels. The Dodgers are not playoff hopefuls, but playoff locks. And as Glasnow and Snell near returns from their injuries, there is an argument that Ohtani is still more valuable to the Dodgers as a hitter than a pitcher. They can ill afford to lose him at the plate due to, say, an oblique injury suffered on the mound. And so, even in letting Ohtani pitch in MLB games, the Dodgers have shown caution, keeping his pitch count restrained while closely monitoring how the physical toll of the soon-to-be 31-year-old Ohtani's pitching affects his hitting. Ohtani himself has reduced his aggression on the base pass ever since he started throwing BP sessions. As Ohtani builds up to a starter's workload, it will be fascinating to see if the Dodgers actually use him as a traditional starter or continue to lean more toward brief opening bursts. And the biggest question looming over all of this is how Ohtani will be utilized in the postseason, where his two-way skills have yet to be seen. All we know is Ohtani's desire to get back to doing what is, to him, natural, has led to this strange but fun phenomenon of rehab outings taking place amid DH duties. The player, unlike any other, is showing us a recovery unlike any other. And no matter how many innings it leads to, or how long it lasts, it's awesome to see the return of the two-way Ohtani.